everyone. Welcome to another awesome day of FileMaker training. I'm Richard Carlton, creator of FMTV, where every day is a great day to be learning about the FileMaker platform. Today is a conversation about FileMaker Go Day 2. Now, before we get into that, let me hit the high-level important stuff for all of you. This is the upcoming 60-day training. This is a artistic rendering of one of my students who is losing their mind trying to understand anchor buoy. It starts January 21, which I think is a Tuesday, and it's going to be an hour every day. It's free to attend the live stream. The recordings will only be available for the people who have an active subscription. So it's one of those deals where if you show up live, you don't have to pay. But if you want to get the recording, I need to ask that people kick a couple bucks into the piggy bank and pay for that. So if I come over here, this is the upcoming broadcast schedule for all of you today. We're off till whatever, the 2nd or the 3rd. So just a reminder, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Merry New Year to everyone. I want to say appreciate all of you who are here. Even the people who aren't here, normal regulars, I really appreciate you because this is a community effort, community event. I always tell my engineers this: if you, every one of you, are successful with FileMaker, that somewhere in the back of your mind, I will get a little smidge of credit and help for that, and that will pay positive dividends down the road somehow for me. Some topics are easy to get, some topics are hard to get. My job is to make the topics that are hard to get understandable for you. If I've done that for you, I've helped you, my day is successful. I go to bed at night and I sleep well with knowing that. So here's the deal. If you want to get the recordings for this, you need to have a subscription. And it's where you got to kick a couple bucks in. Any level of subscriptions will get you access. But we want to encourage people to throw a couple bucks in to help pay Margaret's salary and all the other video editing that goes on. It's quite expensive to do this. All right, so go, FileMaker Go. So FileMaker Go is what runs on the iPad. Whee! This is the iPad and the screen. There it goes. So we have this tool that you see on screen. I have the tool right here. You're seeing the screen of my iPad right here. As I move things around, you can't see my finger on there. It's kind of a bummer, but you see the screen. Down here is exactly the same file in FileMaker Pro, Mac or Windows, it doesn't matter. And I'm making some modifications and edits to it. It's not done, it's work in progress. It's why I hadn't updated this file in about 4 years, because you always think it's a really quick fix, and then you get into it and you're like, nah, that's more work than you thought. So I'm gonna try to get this done today because I need it off my plate and off my schedule. So here's how this works, everyone. If you care about the sample file, every training item in here is a record. It's also a layout. And the idea is that they're kind of loosely grouped together and you sequentially step through them, if that makes sense. You sequentially step through them. So we're inserting a new item down here that's going to be, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this record right here, I'm going to duplicate it. And what this is, it has to do with what would you call it? It was the get keystroke. Is it object keystroke, Margaret? What is it? It's the new thing for WebDirect. Object keystroke.
Yeah, get object keys. No, it's the script trigger. So what's this? Oh, no, it's on object keystroke is the script trigger.
On not get. It's on.
Yeah, that's why I was like malfunctioning.
Of course, yeah, it was in there. Okay, and so it's going to be issue 18. So I've added it in here. And then it's going to be item 18 right here. And so what happens is that, so you have this right here. I mean, this is really stupid, basic kind of stuff. This is almost like for those of you who remember HyperCard, it's kind of a HyperCard thing, right? A real basic, a sequential presentation of information. So then I already have I took the 17 layout and I duplicated it. And so if I go to 18 here real quick, I'm going to say, let me see. So let me go to previous. Okay, here we go. And if I hit next, all the next does is it says, what current record am I on? And go to the next record and the next layout, I believe is how that works. So if I hit next, terminology, go to navigation first glance. We did something wrong with that. So we have to come back over here, figure out, oh, I don't know if I saved it. Object 18, approved by Richard. Okay, let's try this again. Previous, next. There it worked.
There we go. Cool, that's slick.
So you can watch the script debugger to see how this works, but if I'm here and I hit previous, it's going to say, go to the layout, the current layout number -1. That's it.
Oh, that's clever. Okay.
Then on entering, it checks to see if there's a record with the same, the layout name up here is the same name in that record of that list. And then it brings up the record. So you have the matching record and the matching layout. It's the basic way to present data. It's stupid. It's so stupid, but it works very well. And
That's clever. I did not understand exactly how this worked prior to this point.
there you go. Now you know. So what we have in here. So if I go to, we're on local configure local notifications. We haven't got to this quite yet, but if I say next on object keystroke, then we're going to go in here and we're going to update this information here. But
yes.
for WebDirect, where
no, this is not enabled.
Oh, and WebDirect on object keystroke should work on Go already, and then on WebDirect they added support for.
Yes, for like specific keys, very few keys, but yes.
Okay, cool. So let's go back to where we were. So once again, this is the interface. This is the behind the scenes. So we're sequentially stepping through these, and we've been updating them, and the issue date, and then updated. According to this,
it's not quite fully caught up yet because.
All right, you have to update. So this is at the bottom. You could tell. So these are when these records were created. That's how far FileMaker Go goes back. This tool won an award for being back in the day. These days, everyone assumes that y'all have learned it already, but for brand new developers, the FileMaker Go is a totally new thing. FileMaker Go, once again, is a tool that we use on iOS devices, iPhones and iPads predominantly. I was told that the engineers at Claris got it to work on a watch, but what do you do with a one icon size display? If you thought the iPhone sucked, try putting FileMaker on the watch screen. They did. It technically it worked, but the utility of it was really stupid. So because you can't really interact with it. So anyway, that was interesting. That was back in the day. I know they got it working on the Apple Vision, so you can put FileMaker Go and it will work on the Apple Vision display. Like if you have a spare $4,500 or $5,000, then you can get the 3D graphical thing here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the MPS plugin works with the Apple Vision display.
Yeah, that's okay. So anyway, so I'm going to pick us up right here on location functions. We kind of talked about that a little bit. We did this. This is the dialogue.
Yeah, we got to email, I think, to discuss.
Okay. I'm not going to discuss email with you. Suffice it to say that you can read this right here. You can run the email command in so long as you don't perform with the dialogue. If you try to have it spawn, like the replace command in FileMaker Go, a lot of script steps you have, you can throw up a dialogue like halfway through the process, and the user can interact with and then specify how the results are going to work. Those generally don't work with FileMaker. I think the print one does. But most of them don't really work. And this is another one that doesn't work. So send email. If you pop it up the mail so they can customize it and stuff, no bueno. It has to run all the way through. But once again, email is such a mess. That is one of the days of conversation we have coming up on the 60-day thing is email. And I'm trying to decide what the easiest thing to teach beginners is, because here's the deal. Some of this material changes, year to year, right? Things get better, different, whatever. Some of it doesn't change, like Anchor Buoy is going to be Anchor Buoy until the end of FileMaker, whenever that might be. And long after I'm gone and left the planet, FileMaker will probably still be here. Okay. So that being said, some of those topics don't change, but the email, just because the way bad people use email, hackers try to fake you with email, phishing, all that kind of emails. The security requirements for email always go up, which means that we as developers have to adopt those security measures or our email is never delivered. Kind of a pain in the ass. In fact, not kind of, it's a giant pain in the ass. So anyway, I'm going to move forward on this one right here. Open URL script step in FileMaker Go will open the page within FileMaker using WebKit. Okay, once again, this is the idea of having if you have a web viewer on your Mac or on Windows, it's using the browser to drive the web viewer. It's the same in Go. The WebKit typically is a mobile WebKit. It's generally less capable. Once again, as a reminder, we talked about this yesterday, and you'll see this highlighted in FileMaker Help down where you see this feature. It says supported in Pro, yes. Supported in Server, yes. Supported in Go, partially. And if you read the notes, it'll say something like, if you run this on a full browser, on a full computer, it's fine, but if you run it on a mobile browser, it won't work. So you have a device that has fundamentally a mobile browser. The mobile browsers are not full-featured equivalents of the desktop version. So That's one of these things. So we're talking about the web viewer here. If I run, I'm going to hit the run button right here. It pops up a card style window, and so this is a web viewer in a card style window. Down at the bottom, I can say open in Safari, and then it pops it all the way out of FileMaker, which is what I recommend doing. I recommend if you hit this, you don't even pop it in a web viewer, just send it out to Safari or to Edge or to Chrome. Get it out of FileMaker, because if it malfunctions in Chrome or Safari or Edge directly, then those companies will hopefully feel incentivized to fix it. If it's broken inside a web viewer, then it's up to Claris management to decide it's important to fix. And there won't be a lot of peer pressure because you won't have 5 million people call Claris raising holy hell because the browser doesn't work anymore. Right? Browsers don't work. Companies are horrified and they want to get it fixed. Right? If the web viewer doesn't work in FileMaker for some obscure thing, will anyone really care? If a tree falls over in the forest, will anyone hear it? If web viewer doesn't really work and 12 developers complain, will Claris really hear it? Right? I generally the answer is maybe and no. Those are the two most likely answers. Talked about GPS yesterday. That's functional. There's 2 GPS calls. The more advanced one returns altitude and stuff like that. Margaret, you point out in the helicopter, you can try that. It works, trust me. When FileMaker does not recognize the following script steps, it will essentially, now I'm pretty sure we'd have to re-verify this list as being accurate right here. If you see this list right here.
Yeah.
We want to re-verify that, but in general, you'll get a error 3. So if I run a script that's running something right now, if I go over here to next, oh, I'm too far.
You're too far ahead. You got to go back.
Going backwards in time. I'm going backwards in time. Okay, so if I say script, so if I run it right now, error 0. So Pro ran whatever was in here. Go wouldn't, but to figure out what we ran, I'm just going to do script debugger. I'm going to hit the button. It's run a script issue 5. It's going to attempt to run a speak command. Speak, right? So yes, you could. Is speak still in there?
I'm about to say, like, what does that even do?
Okay, back in the day, you could tell FileMaker to speak.
What?
And it would, hello, I am a robot. It would speak.
Huh.
You didn't know about that?
No, I had no idea.
That happens when yeah. It's literally, I've been here for 35 years. It's come and gone, right? So let me just type in, if I bring up the right side over here, let me click on that. Okay, no, I'll just say.
It's mad at you because of the script debugger, yes.
Do that. Let me type speak. Is it still over here? It is there. Speak is there. And so it will speak, okay?
Huh.
There, I did not know it was still in there. Why is it? Oh, it's grayed out.
Are you set to go on your thingy?
We're set on WebDirect. So
got it. Okay.
So what about Go? It won't.
It's iOS. It called itself iOS. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we say Mac works on. I doubt it works on Windows. That seems like a Mac only thing. Yeah, I generally don't promote single platform features unless they're like a cure for cancer, right? Like seriously. Like if you have this one feature and it cures cancer and solves all these huge problems, then yeah, I'll use it. But outside of that, if it's not cross-platform, I don't use it. Claris threw that in there, but that goes back like FileMaker 5 or 6 or something. It goes back, Margaret, when you were born. That's how old that is.
Yeah, I went and I looked up what version of FileMaker was around when I was born. It was 4. So
might be from that era. Okay, so it's running a speak. If you run it over here, oh, sorry, I can't run that. I'm going to run it on the pad. I hit the button, you get a 3. So there's that. Moving along. Executing the select set script steps does not highlight the text if the keyboard is hidden. So once again, there's a hidden keyboard over here. And so there's the keyboard right here. You can dynamically, programmatically control which keyboard comes up. You can also have it active, but the keyboard's, you can have the cursor in there, but have the keyboard not active at the same time, right? So just keep that in mind. So it's telling you that the script steps to select and set and things, the behavior is a little different. So once again, this tool is not something you have to memorize. It's just, it's here. And if you have a big project with Go, you might want to get my tool out and use it. And once again, we're updating this. Margaret, you can call this one good, this one good.
Yeah.
The previous one, I'm going to call it good. The GPS coordinates are good, good, good. Next one. Popover window and goes are great to show some extra information that might otherwise fit onto the layout. This is a script step. Close popover to program a close popover once the task run. Popover windows are objects and content from the parent window are not a separate layout. Popover windows are fully compatible. So it's just saying it's compatible. All that, it says it's compatible. Popovers were specifically created to deal with some issues with Go specifically. So backup. So I don't know if we talk about single document interface in here. This is kind of an important concept, okay? If I'm gonna close this window for right now. I'm gonna hide this movie for right now. So you got Richard over here. So here is this file right here. This is a FileMaker file that's open. It's on a server, okay? It has a single window right now. If I pop a new window, I can have multiple windows open and display them at the same time, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's a multi-window interface, okay?
Okay.
It's and these can be on different, they don't have to mirror each other. This could be over here, this could be over here. You can actually record lock yourself between the two, all sorts of stuff. In Go, it's a single document interface, which means there's a single window for the file, okay? For what you're doing. There's only one window on screen at a time. Now, you can try to do a split screen on the iPad or something. So if I come back over here, so here we are, this is the iPad now. All right, so this is your pad. So at any given time, there can only be one window that is displayed. There's no option for multiple windows. I had a customer, and he handles our SEO for us. He's a great guy. And one time he was working with another customer. I built a solution for them, and he had 50 windows open at the same time because every time someone would call him in the office, he would pop a new window open to resolve their issue. And the phone kept ringing because his boss did some crazy shit, did some amazing promotion. You pay me for $1 and I'll give you $2 back, crazy stuff. And so the phone's ringing off the hook. So he kept spawning new windows and the performance would slow. Jacob Taylor's done this too. Jacob Taylor's a guy who loves to have a lot of windows open. Your operating system eventually falls over. So setting that aside, this is only one window. Now you can do 3 fingers down and you get the menu. And then I can say, show me the windows. Now the X at the top corner gets rid of the window. All it is close a window. Now, what happens if you close the last window of a FileMaker? What happens?
It runs the closing script, right? And any kind of like script triggers you've got to close the stuff. Yeah.
It's the last window. So then you're closed out of that solution entirely. If I hit plus, this is really a duplicate button. So now if I come over here and I'm on this screen and I click on this again, we have 2 windows that are open. So it's a single document interface, meaning that you can only see one at a time. I don't know what the limit is to putting them down here. I wouldn't do 50 of them in here. It's only price sake, but it's whatever. So you can have multiple, and also if you have other FMP12 files, all the windows would be listed under here. So this is a visual representation of that. With WebDirect, it's one step crazier than this. It is that this exists, but you can't see it, and you've got to keep track of it in your head or on a piece of paper, on a Post-it note on your desk.
I forgot about that.
You can so we can go over here. I'm gonna go ahead and make this. I'm gonna select that one. I'm gonna make it a little smaller. Let's go into WebDirect. I'm gonna say new window. I'm gonna type in stream.addrcc.com / and it should be HTTPS because it's WebDirect. I don't know that it's HTTPS in here, so I'm gonna put that in manually just to make sure it doesn't do anything unsavory. Then I'm going to say FMI, lowercase, case sensitive, then WebD. This is case sensitive. Not all URL links are case sensitive. These have been historically case sensitive, okay? I hit this. We're going to WebDirect on the same server. I can see it in an icon like this, which is ugly. I can see a list, which is a little bit more manageable. I can go to our FileMaker file, which is our training tool. It's going to want to log in. It logs in. So we're in a single document interface right now, okay? And if I click on this, you don't see anywhere where it says new window. If I create a new window, both windows are in here, but there's no equivalent display to see both of them. So if I'm over here and I do this and I see 2 windows, The same functionality is over here, but it's hidden. It's you don't see it.
So does it prioritize the newly created window, or are you just
Yes.
creating windows behind? Okay, got it.
It prioritizes the new window you create, but the other one's still there. If you close one window, it will go to the next window in the stack. But it's one of those deals where you're like, if you have a bug, you're trying to figure out what the hell happened. It's never going to tell you. So you have some get functions that talk about window functions, right? Talk about window functions. If we go back to FileMaker Pro, we're in Pro here, and I go to new. Let me just go to script workspace because I don't really need the help on this too much. But you guys could look up the help. But if I just say window, so here's the window. Adjust window, change the size, arrange all windows. I don't think I use that. It's a Microsoft Windows thing, different windows. Close window, close the window, freeze window. We freeze it so it doesn't redraw, helps the FileMaker run faster. Move and resize the window. New window duplicates the current window, okay? That generally it duplicates the current window. I think this is also the one where it's got they added a feature here, which is you can specify a layout for it to go to too. That is new after the last 2 or 3, 4 years. This is a new thing right here. Okay.
Okay.
Spawn a new window, would duplicate the one. Then you'd have another step below it was go to layout.
Oh, okay. So they just incorporated the go to layout inside of the actual script.
If you have the old code, it still works just fine, but they kind of put it in here because people were about it. So for whatever reason, refresh window caused a refresh, scroll window up, select window. This is where you create a window and you name it Rover. Okay. And the window's named Rover. So if we come back over to here, this window is called Rover. The point is that if you can call a window if you know its name. If you willy-nilly create a window and you don't, like, you can create a new window, and what you would do is then you would rename the window, right? So you adjust. I don't know if it's under adjust. Let's take a look at adjust. Resize to fit. Nope. Arrange all windows. Close window. Move and resize window. Or actually, if you create a new one, you put the name right there, Margaret. So you put the name on it when you create it. So you put Rover. Okay.
Yes.
Then when it runs, it will say Rover up here. So you can say, then you can tell it to select window and select the current window, which is dumb, or go to Rover. And of course, it could be a variable, right? So you have $window, which happens, it would be $, because you'd want to preserve that outside of scripts. Window for the Rover window, right? We don't know what we call it, but whatever, right? So there you have so then you use this, right? So that's how you manage it. So keep in mind that Pro allows you to see the multiple windows at one time, unless you spawn them off screen. Like if you spawn like a window and you say -4,000 pixels.
Yes.
So it's up above the top of the window.
Well, I've heard of cases where that shows up because people get like a couple monitors strung back to back and they look over to the side and suddenly they see a random floating window.
Yeah, and it's flashing. Yeah. That's a thing. So anyway, naming the windows, being aware that you have the windows named, understanding you can only see one at a time, and Go, they took the time to display this. They never built it over here in WebDirect. I think they figured that anyone who was doing WebDirect should be sufficiently smart enough or something, whatever they want to say. They were sufficiently experienced developers. I would say not smart enough, but experienced developers that they would know that they had built this. You have multiple windows. Now you have the same thing over here, but we're not going to show it to you. Just keep track of it in your head. So whatever, I have a bigger fish to fry. I'm not going to worry about this, right? So single document interface. So I go back over here. Once again, we're saying that, so pop over. So here's the deal. You can't see multiple windows on the screen. Card style windows help with this, and popovers help allow you to layer things onto your Go and WebDirect without having to mentally understand that there's multiple document windows that are, in the case of WebDirect, absolutely invisible. It's like a stealth bomber.
So wait, we talked about card windows and Go, right? Didn't we? Do card windows make a new window? Here we go.
We're on this one here. So moving along, next topic. Oh, I keep trying to click that. Hang on.
you gotta.
Right, so open card window. Card windows were explicitly created to support Go, okay? And they also work great in WebDirect. So if I come over here to WebDirect, since we still get rid of that, bring this back. I go to get rid of that. I go to calculations.
You want to be in scripting.
Scripting. Click on that. Go to scripting.
And then you want to go to new window script step. Yep, there you go.
Okay, so I hit card window. Yeah, it looks pretty good here, right? Yeah, works good. Then I open a dialogue style window. I pop it. Now where'd the other window go? We closed the other window. No, we didn't. It's still here. It's still here. It's hidden. I'm going to close the window. The other one comes back. Let's do it over here so we can actually see the evidence of our crime. So I'm going to move myself out of the way. I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to say open a card style window. Now I'm going to hit the thing at the top, if it'll let me.
And it is a separate window that locks out the users from playing with other windows. I think it's part of the design.
I should read my own.
you should read your own. Yeah, open that back up again.
To be clear, back up. So let's talk about this. This all goes back to FileMaker 14, and Claris created these three here. Okay. And it basically, I personally, I'm not Nick, I only use two windows. I use a card window or I use a document window, which is a standard window with all this on it. So this one right here it's modal, which means it locks people out, right? Or I think or is it anti-modal?
It said modal. If you click it, it gives you like the little definition. There you go. Yeah.
Modal window. Yeah, it locks other people out. So it's non-modal, which means it's not locked out. So the rub is if we go to open normal, okay, here's a normal window here. If I click the top, it's still being a piece of, it's still kind of locked out. So
did you do like the little like 3-finger gesture thing?
There we go. There we go. It popped the new window so you can see it. So Margaret had me show the status toolbar. So three fingers up gets that. 3 fingers. I'm holding 3 fingers on my screen down. And it allows you to see the toolbar on the bottom down here at the very bottom and the toolbar at the top, which has the question mark in the top right. Has the windows. You can see the windows right here. And so, yeah, that's how that works. Interesting, eh? And then over here are your
nifty.
Pretty nifty, yeah. So you can compare these, but once again, there's no way, while we can see them in Go, we can't see them over here. So if I pop it over here, there's no way to actually see the other windows like in Go.
Well, because the status toolbar straight up doesn't exist in... Does the status toolbar exist for WebDirect?
Yeah, it's here. You can, you have to use a script to show it.
Oh, okay.
But it will pop, it shows there. If I hit close window, it's right there.
There it is. Okay, got it.
Of this, it's, once again, when I saw this coming, that's why I covered the single document interface thing. Real quick, animations. Animations exist in Go. Claris was going to add them to Pro. The problem was they could only easily add them to Pro Mac, and everyone was schniveling that they couldn't get it on Pro Windows. So Claris, in my opinion, properly killed it on the Mac. So the Mac doesn't have animations on it. The operating system, what it is, Claris tells the operating system to animate it for them, and it does it automatically. There's no auto animation in Microsoft Windows that Claris can call. And maybe by this time in this year they would, but this is an older feature and no one anymore, everyone's used to it sucking, right? Like no animation. So it's kind of like, hey, we've given up. It's like horizontal portals. We gave up asking for it.
Oh. I mean, you say that, but I got people religiously that pop up in my comments every time.
Yeah. All right. So this is a fun one. This is get network type. We should try this over here, see what happens. Animations. I don't think, animations don't work in web. Let me see, animations on. Yeah, they don't work in WebDirect. Oh, you wouldn't think, right? WebDirect.
What is that supposed to look like? Like, what's the animation actually look like?
Sorry. Come over here. Animations on, just to make sure they're on. And if, see how they.
Oh, the actual like scrolling is okay.
Yeah. And you can have it do a couple different things. I mean, it's just a nice to have.
Yes.
So you could turn it off and then you do it and it just, okay, it's back on again. But what happens, I turn it off and it's, there it goes. See that? So when you run those scripts, it's just toggling through the tabs or the slide. The tabs, well, tabs don't animate, but those are slide controls, so it's supposed to slide.
Yes.
Of course, Claris made it so it wouldn't slide on Mac and Windows. So yeah, I mean, I think it was probably a lot of work for very little gain. So they'd rather put other stuff. Why? What kind of network are you on? Network type. I hit run that. run script. I'm on 3, which is a Wi-Fi connection. This only works with Go. So it
Oh,
doesn't.
really? Okay.
Oh, you get with. Oh, okay, sorry. The records. I have it locked over here. Let me run it over here now. I get nothing on Pro, and just for shits and giggles, let's try it over here. Yeah. So when they say it only works on Go, they mean it. So that's up.
That's kind of interesting because that'd be a useful one to have. Like, I don't know, useful, but I'm surprised
Back
it's only a
day,
Go.
first doing this, the networks were 2G and just coming into 3G networks.
Oh,
Test to see if they were on 3G or a cell network versus Wi-Fi.
got it.
They were, we might not do Harry through.
Oh, okay, yeah, because you wouldn't want to like send out a bajillion pea sauces or whatever when you're.
Yeah, well, that was before PSOS, but you wouldn't
Oh,
want to go
yes.
through. You'd want to go through like Jesse Barnum's sync, mirror sync, right? And you maybe it's
Mm-hmm.
a bad app, and you know the sync is going to suck, so you only want to sync if you're Wi-Fi, right? That kind of thing. So, anyway,
That makes sense. Cool.
this one right here, I haven't tried it since it sucks so bad. But this is basically this idea. It's kind of like the little. I think the tech has got better, but you know the little Apple little, and we had tiles, a little like I don't know. Do I make keys anywhere? Every stack of keys or important flight books I have, I put the little Apple ID tags, little tags in there, right? And that tech came out before Apple was doing this, and other companies were doing it. Tile was a company that was doing it, and it allows you to trap and scan for these little devices and tell you where they're at. Okay. Um, we made some videos on it at what point. We need to probably see. I don't know if this company's still. Oh, okay. They're still in business. So there they are, right? And so they made some tags that were compatible, right? We went to the problem was the tech really, everyone thought it was great and everyone said it was great. Then we went to DevCon Las Vegas. So at that event, they were also doing this thing, and the Claus event was involved with it, and they had bought a bunch of these little puck things, these little white things. They're like, like this big. And they would put them in different booths. So you'd have to take your mobile phone, your iPhone, and run the FileMaker Go, and then visit all the exhibit booths. And as you got to the exhibit booth, it would mark down that you'd visited the booth. And then when you collected all of them, you'd be entered to win a prize, like a new car or something, whatever they're going to do. And so the problem was the damn thing was really unreliable. It just was not good. So the rub with that is that you couldn't. We're in the Cosmopolitan Hotel. You got someone 20 feet away, can't see him. You get 5 feet away, couldn't see him. Then 30 minutes later, then you can see him. And I don't know if it was an Apple iOS problem or what it was, but this. At the time we built all this, I was just covering my bases right here, but it's not a tech that I would use. I think near field communications NFC is this kind of same idea, but the tech is different. I think NFCs and all this stuff's a lot more reliable now. So if you want to try a project with it, but before you go and commit $1 million to this stuff, buy a sample of the equipment and check it to make sure it's going to work the way you want it to work. I mean, it demoed fine. But I think Walmart these days has really pushed the tech forward because you can't even deliver products to Walmart warehouses if you're you sell lettuce or salad or something. You're a farmer. You got to put it in a box, and as the box comes in the warehouse, it scans the RFID on the side. No one does it by hand. It's all auto robot. And you can have RFIDs down inside a box, multiple, and you can scan it, reads the whole box. We've had shows on that with Honda.
Yeah, Hansa. Yep, that was a Hansa shenanigan.
So that's where the stuff has gotten more reliable. So there is reliability here. I don't know if it's this specific tech, these range beacons. I don't know if that's what you'd use for that. So anyway, moving forward. So iBeacon demo only, blah, blah, blah. Monitor the beacons. You have to have a beacon. So this is kind of in here. If you want to play with this, feel free to play with it. Margaret, you can mark that off as current if you want.
Okay.
Allow user abort to set on or off. Okay. This is pretty straightforward here. Start a script that loops forever with allows you bar off. The only way to kill it is to force quit the app on your mobile device. All of you know that you grab the bottom of your device with your finger. I'm going to kind of do this right here for you. You're going to grab the bottom and slide up like this. Kind of hard to see. Let me see it. There. Yeah. Hello. There we go. So you can see I brought it up. So now, nope, it didn't quite go. You want to bring it up. So then all your window apps are hello. There we go. Oh, it lost. The point is, it allows you to force quit apps. So you hold your finger at the bottom of the screen and you slowly move it up and hold it, and then that's like Control Alt Delete or something on your Windows or whatever it is to bring up the task manager.
It's force quit, yeah.
It's a force quit on Mac or a task manager. So you can stop a process. So you can flick process. Every once in a while, iMessages loses its mind, and I have to force quit it or something. So that's kind of this conversation about user board on or off, whether you want it on or off. The thing is, on an iPad, if you have something running, a script's running over here, and a user just touches the screen by accident a little bit. I'm moving my hands so I can see my hands. If the user touches the screen by accident a little bit, it'll throw a dialog. Hey, would you like to cancel what you're doing? And so the screen is very sensitive to the user touching the screen while a script's running. So just keep that in mind. You might, if the script's simple and small and snuggly, then user board off. If your user board has a loop in it, then you may or may not want to do that, or you might want to teach people how to force quit. If you have FileMaker Go running and it's a local app, force quitting it can damage it just like it is on Pro. However, if the FMP12 file's on the server properly, because we all want to run our FileMaker servers, we put like this file here. If I force quit, I might come back over here to QuickTime, wherever QuickTime went. QuickTime. All right, here's QuickTime. So let me show you this. I'm going to use my one finger at the bottom. I'm going to come up, and then now we're in force quit mode right now. Okay, so I can pick an app and I kind of flick it. You're going to flick it off the screen. So I'm going to grab FileMaker Go. I'm going to flick it up. And now it's force quit. So if it was a local FMP12 file, we might have just damaged it. But if it's on the server protects the file. It's gracefully disconnected, no damage, right? That's why we use FileMaker Server. So then I come back over to FileMaker Go, says, oh, you force quit me. I'm going to reopen where I was at and restore it. And that's what it's trying to do right there.
There we go.
And so it re-logged in and reopened the file. Anyway, so for what that's worth, next. Moving along, there's some discussion about hide and show toolbar. So we're still on Go here, right? So let me just do this for a little bit. We'll play with this. So if I say hide, it's at the top if you look at it. See the top coming down? So it's there, the top menu bar, gone. Show, hide, show, hide. Okay, bottom, toolbar. Bottom is the toolbar. Once again, this doesn't exist like this in WebDirect. It's different in WebDirect, and in Pro, the bottom doesn't exist at all. Hide, show, okay? Local notifications. I demoed these. These are great. We have a great training video on these things. They're that you can set them up to fire scripts and do things like that. Basically, if you can see this over here, you can trigger a notification within operating system to come down and then to present a question, and you can defer it, you can activate it. If you can, it sends the notification back to FileMaker, performs a script, and you can decide what you're going to do, right? So it's fun to play with. If you have like a clock set or a notification set or something like that, something happens. The problem is this kind of is incomplete. This is where we keep going back. Mark, remember we had this show the other day with Christian about perform script on client, where one client can trigger a script on another client.
Yes.
That is a freaking hack created by the Europeans. FileMaker community, they're a fantastic community. And then they published a blog on it that's really old. And then Christian took it about a month ago and needed it for a customer. I said, hey, this thing I think still exists. Through this weird backhanded hack from hell, you can cause a client to run a script for you. This, for the notifications to be useful, you need to be able to have happening, and then the FileMaker server, through a command from a script, either from a Pro script or a PSAW script, can send a notification to one or more people to activate a script, and it could throw a dialog, right, a notification up. So this is like what they call local notification, which basically means that you have a script on your mobile device, on your iPad, and it's going to schedule its own notification for you. It's better than zero, but it's kind of an incomplete feature. You need to be able to, like the FileMaker server is processing, analyzing threat detection, scanning for drones over New Jersey, scan complete, notify people. Oh, we have no way of notifying them. It'd be great. Boop. Little window comes down. Boop. Drone identified over New Jersey. That's unchanged. These are all the features of it. So you can decide what text goes into the message, right? So all these things over here. Message, name, title, bottle, delay, what script you're going to run, stuff. So these are all continued from the previous screen. And then this is a little, that's a web viewer up there at the top that's just playing a video, I think is all that does, right? So, oh, it played it once and then it stopped. That's interesting. And then it says, if you'd like to play it, tap the image to play again. Okay, so you have the name of the notification. So when you fire the notification, it will return this data right here to you. The name of the notification, the script parameter that you pass back and forth so you know what's going on. You could do that. I'm not gonna, let me set notification, let's try it, see what happens. I'm gonna set notification, allow. So now we're sitting here, we set the notification, and I'm not sure if anything is gonna happen or not.
We have a question. What if you have a local FMP12 to sync when online? Call back to specific client.
Oh, you mean what, the PSOS with callback? Is that what the question is? Who's asking a question?
It is David Angel.
What if you could have a local FMP12 to sync when online? Call back to a specific client. Well, there's no built-in function for that. So if you were online, you could do a get network and establish that you're functional. Then you could run a script to do a sync. But the only way to send a notification to someone right now is with Christian's bass backwards hacked perform script on client thing from like a couple weeks ago, right? So the notification right here is largely a local event. Callback client. At the moment, we're talking about a local event crashed if closed unexpectedly.
He was talking about the fact that what happens if a local FMP12 file crashes? Is it going to try to?
If the notifications are scheduled, they're scheduled with the operating system. So they're still going to fire. That's the whole point of so let me do this again. So here we are in Go. I'm going to say set notifications running. I'm going to exit out. We're going to go to ForeFlight. We're going to start planning to do a cross country, and we're going to go visit Hot Air Balloon Can in Albuquerque. Allow it to do some more. Got it. I'm going to start planning. Got weather concerns. Somewhere in here, I should get a. It's not. It didn't show up. Did I see it? Did we miss it?
Is it in if you pull down notification center? Is it okay? It's in your notifications.
So it showed up here, but it didn't
actually ping you.
That's one of the options you have. You can specify whether it's going to throw a message at you or not.
Oh.
It can just dump itself very subtly into your notifications. Like if you're chasing drones and you wouldn't want to subtly code red alert, drones are coming, alarms and but if you're subtly, we've rescheduled your hair appointment for next week for 2 weeks out. Maybe that's a subtle non-crisis sort of notification, right? So you come over here, you fire that. So yeah, so you get that. So that's kind of how that works. You need to play with it more. This demo will work. It's something we don't use a lot, Margaret. We don't use a BVA because it's an incomplete feature. If it doesn't integrate with your team, it's a one-man band kind of feature. No one gives a
yeah, no. If you want to send notifications, you got to do it the old hack way, which includes deleting records.
Yes, which would force a to show. If Go is running now, if Go's not running at the time and you trip it,
what happens?
Actually, because you're deleting the record won't be deleted until you bring FileMaker back to the foreground. Your notification would come to you in flight as you reactivate Go. So
interesting.
Christian Olsen's with the European fix on that would kick for that. Because Go, once again, FileMaker Go, if I go home, FileMaker Go is in memory, but it's not running. So there's another demo in here where we're running a script that just counts up 1, 2, 3, and you go to the home screen, count for 10 to come back. It'll pick up where it left off. It doesn't run in the background. It's not multitasking because we're back to this battery Android experience that Apple doesn't want.
Yes.
So it doesn't run in the background. So in fact, most things don't run well in the background. Dropbox intermittently runs well in the background. David, are we good on that question? Hopefully that's helpful for you a little bit. Hopefully all this stuff is helpful. So container storage. If you do a lot of digital document management like Margaret's, let's talk about Big Valley Aviation, right? And containers. If you do containers and you want and you have a lot of containers, the file should be on a server. That's the way it works. If you have a file locally on your computer, an FMP12 file locally on your mobile device, the containers will always be internal. So you take a FileMaker file, a copy of FileMaker of FM Starting Point that has, by default, will have the container saved internally. You go in there, you go into field definitions, you set them to save remotely externally to a folder next to the FMP12 file. Cool. You put it on the server, it works great. You take that FMP12 file and you copy it down to the iOS. Generally, it will never copy that external folder of images. It just doesn't do it. So you get the FMP12 file without the images with it. So you open it up in FMP and you get broken icons in your containers. Okay, because FileMaker Go cannot use externally stored images for a local file. Works great on server. Works great on server. But for a local FMP12 file, so then you have these broken images, but you're like, oh, I'll worry about that later. I got to take some pictures. You start taking pictures with your phone. Taking pictures. Where did the containers go? Where do those pictures go? It auto switches back to internal storage for you without your guidance or approval. And so you can have a container field. Listen, everyone, you can have a container field in FileMaker where the documents that are in the container can be both external. Some records are external. Some records are internal, mixed.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. So then you have an FMP12 file where some of it's in there and the file gets fat. You move it back to the server. You host it for whatever reason. Say it receives the external folder again. It reactivates, so that it starts working again. So from record to record, it's going to go, hey, is this container stored internally? Oh, it is. Grab it out of the file. Of course, your FMP12 files getting fat, heavy, slows down performance, makes backups go slow. Or it's external, okay? So it's kind of like you've got someone who's half in and half, it's like you're trying to climb over a chain link fence and you've got one leg on both sides of the fence and you smash your private parts on the fence. That's the containers are half on one side, half on the other side. FileMaker keeps track of it. Miracles of miracles. The engineers thought all this out and coded this. Congratulations. But people like, yeah, what the hell? Right. So then what you have to do is you have to tell it when it's off the FileMaker Go, it's back on the server or it's local and pro, to take that container and switch it fully, field definition, switch it fully to internal or external container. And then it will rejigger and make it all one way or the other. But it can be mixed. This is great. Remember what I said about graphics, right? So here we are in this. See where it chops off here? And we're on container fields. Let me come over here to container fields. So look at this. We talked about this yesterday. Test question. Dave Angel, are you there? You ready for your test question? People said there would not be a test. They lied to you. Here's your test. Try not to choke. So I'm going to line these up the best I can. They're both at 100%. This one goes a little bit lower like that. So the gray is there. Okay. It's chopped off down here. What is the correct adjustment over here to make sure that things are cross-compatible? So what happens is, for those of you who David's typing, is that the lateral left and right spacing of these fields is the same between Mac and iOS, but the vertical spacing is not the same. So how do we fix it? Need to design and write resolution for iPad. Okay, so what it is that you're going to come over on Pro. You're going to go to the layout mode. That's the data pane, or it's the right pane. Right pane, left pane, then there are 4 panels in the pane. This panel right here is the appearance panel. You click on this, you come down to vertical height spacing. You're going to set it to 1.1 and hit the return key. And what that will do is it should fairly closely, if I go back to browse mode over here. Oh, no. Browse mode. Okay. Oh, it spread it out there too. See that it actually made it go far. I thought it didn't. Okay, I thought that we did this yesterday. We demoed it pretty well yesterday. Must have blown that today. Let me see 1. Let me see that. Now I'm going to go back to browse mode over here. Watch this. 1, 2, 3. Watch over here and see if it moves. 1, 2, 3. It did move. Okay. Okay, so once again, it's the same amount of information, but you have to make this a little taller. Technically, the equivalent is about 1.1 over here will be the equivalent over here of what it normally does. That's a behavior change. Go didn't used to do decimals in terms of spacing. It's in the older documents, but FileMaker Go is now acknowledging the spacing. The problem is that you really need 1.1 on the Mac and 0 on a Go, and you can't really put an if statement in here, right? So
That would be fun, actually. Alignment if statements.
yeah, the easiest way is just to make it a little taller here, like this, so it doesn't chop off. Same thing we do in Windows, but that's the issue. So this left and right is the same, but the vertical spacing is a little taller there. So that is that. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, just be aware of it so you know what's going on. You can drag it down, make it a little taller. All right, everyone, Merry Christmas to you. You heard my pitch at the beginning of why we do what we do. Okay, support the channel, support what we're doing. We greatly appreciate it. Those of you have already bought the subscriptions and paid for that, we greatly appreciate it. All right, everyone, that's it. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody. Have a Merry Christmas. Goodbye.